All right, we are back. And as long as I don't melt my camera stand, we are good. I have a nice big skillet. I'm going to turn my pan on medium high. We are going to put 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in our pan. We're going to let that heat up for a second. And I am going to tell you what we are going to do today. We are going to cook a good old southern staple. We are going to cook some pork chops with some apples. You say pork chops with apples? Oh yeah, pork chops with apples. So, this recipe, when we're finished with it, just want to spread your oil all over the pan, is a serving size of 1 pork chop and a half a cup of apples at the end. Now, for that 1 pork chop and that half a cup of apples, it's going to only total 280 calories. Let me turn this up a little bit, get it hot real quick. 280 calories for the whole dish. 1 pork chop is going to give you 23 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. That's going to help you along your journey and help you to maintain your weight. And protein is a great thing. You're only going to get 5 grams of fat. And guess what? There's no grams of carbs in a pork chop. Now, I've got some fat on these pork chops because I think the flavor is good on a pork chop with a little fat on it. Now, your apples. What I'm using is a can of apple pie filling. Now, our serving size is a half a cup. Now, for that half a cup of apple pie filling, you're going to get no protein, but you're going to get no fat. And you're going to get 23 grams of carbs, which is not a lot. So this is a very healthy, oh my, oil's getting thin. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm cooking 3 pork chops because my husband will eat 2. I'll eat 1. And like I said, I've got some fat on them. Look at those bad boys. Oh yeah, they're simmering. That pan's good and hot. Yes, I'm putting just the pork chops in there. We're not frying them up with flour and things. Now I'm going to put some salt on them. And some pepper on them. Let's get the oil on that side. Now we can turn the heat down. So we have it on a medium. And let's let them things sizzle away. Now on a medium, they're going to cook pretty quick. But remember, you want to cook pork thoroughly. You don't want to be eating no raw pork. Get the grease, the vegetable oil all around it. My stove is not exactly level. I don't know if yours is, but mine's not exactly level. I got a low side. So, you want to make sure we cook that. Now, let me sneak over here and get my meat thermometer. It's not time to turn it yet. Now, I'm going to leave the salt and pepper out because we want to salt and pepper both sides when we cook it. So just let it sizzle away. Now you can see on the side, it's starting to turn gray. And that means it's starting to cook. Now normally, I don't turn mine until it's turned gray about halfway up. That tells me it's cooked about halfway. Again, because my stove's crooked, I gotta get that grease up there. But I've got this in a non-stick pan, so it should not stick. But if you look at the size of these pork chops, and you think about it, a half a can of apples, that's a lot of food. We're not going to go hungry. And only 280 calories? Unheard of. Unheard of. Pork is a really lean meat, even though you see I got fat on it. But that fried up fat is just going to add flavor to it. And we want flavor. We like flavor. And you can't be a country girl and not have a little fried up fat. I'm telling you. Yeah, they're starting to brown on the sides. So we want to get it a little higher up before we turn it. Now remember, if you flip it too soon, you can always flip it back. But I try not to flip it too much. Doesn't that look good? Oh, that simmer. Sizzle, sizzle. Alright, let's turn these bad boys over and see what we got. Oh, look at that. Look at that brown. We're going to have to turn it again. Oh, look at that. That's what you want. That caramelization on there. Oh, they look beautiful. Now we want to salt and pepper this side. Now you might think I'm adding a lot of salt and pepper. But you got to remember, some of it is going to stay in the pan. It's going to stick in there. Oh, it's cooking nicely. Now, I don't know if you can see on this side, we still have a little pink in the middle, but it's cooking up rather nicely. Rather fastly. And again, I got my trusty meat thermometer. So we can check it. But look at that browning. That caramelization on there. That's that fat ring. Look at that. That's that fat ring over here. And that fat ring over here. Oh, that fat. Browning. That's just going to add such flavor. Oh my gracious. Oh, it's going to be so good. I just can't get over the calories. That's a lot of meat. That is a lot of meat. That's a 6-ounce portion. And they say a recommended serving is between 4 and 6 ounces. These are 6-ounce portions. Boy, they look good. Boy, they look good. Let's see what our internal temperature is right now. Nope. Still got to go up a little ways. So what I have here is just a generic brand apple pie filling or topping. This is a 21-ounce can. And like I said, a half a cup is a serving. But as soon as we get these cooked with a little more crispiness on them. Now normally, when I'm not on a healthy journey, I coat them in some flour and fry them up. But you know, I was looking at the calories and fat content. You can flour them up and fry them, and it's not adding a lot of fat and calories to it. So, but I didn't want to flour them up and cook them since we were adding apples. I want that crispy fat up here like this. So that's why I didn't flour them up. That's a big piece of meat. I'm going to be excited for dinner tonight. Man, that's looking good. So what are some of the ways you cook pork? I like to fry them. I like to barbecue pork chops. But when I barbecue them, I'll take them and put them in a lined glass Pyrex dish. Put them in the Reynolds wrap. Put some barbecue sauce. I like the Sweet Baby Ray's myself. And then seal them in the Reynolds wrap. And bake them at 350 for about 45 minutes. Oh my goodness, those things are so tender, and the Sweet Baby Ray's getting them. And that's another low carb, low fat way to eat pork chops. I think people forget about pork. What do they call it? The other white meat? The other white meat. You know, but it's good for you. I think I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. Turn the heat up a little bit. Let's see what our temperature is. Well, let's see how hot these suckers are getting. I've got a digital thermometer that I've ordered from Temu. I'm waiting for that to come in. Okay. They're muddling right along. Not long. We'll be able to put those apples in. I wish you could smell them. They smell so good. Man, they smell good. And all you need is a little salt and pepper. And it makes a wonderful little crust on them. Wonderful little crust. I've got Trixie laying on the floor. Cookie walking around. They smell those pork chops. Yeah, boy. Alright, I can hear the heat. Let's flip these. Let's get a good crust on this side. Oh yeah, look at that. Hear it? Can you hear it sizzle? Let's get a good crust on this side. And I think we'll be ready to add those apples. Let me get the top off this can. Get the top off this can. And we'll be ready to add those apples in. People don't think about it, but apples are really good with pork. Really good. And I know you say that we got a little grease in there, but that little bit of grease is not going to hurt anything at all to add those apples in. So, we're going to take our little spatula and we're going to take our apples and we're going to add them right in. Right in. Right in. Right on top of these pork chops. Now we're going to turn the heat down to a simmer. And with the apples and the glaze on top of the pork chops, it's going to make like a little barrier. As soon as the sugars that are off stop steaming, it's going to make like a little barrier. And it's going to steam our pork chops under that glaze of the apples. And those pork chops are going to be so tender. Man, that is a meal. That is a meal. Man, that looks good. So, I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes, and we're going to plate it up. So, I will be right back. All right, it's simmered for about 15 minutes. Look at this. Look at this. 280 calories. Can you believe? Look at this plate of food. Look at this. Look at that delicious pork chop under there. Look at the glaze on that pork chop. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? And all these delicious apples. So I'll cut a couple pieces off. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, look at that glaze. Oh, pork chop is just tender. Like glaze from those apples. That pork chop melts in your mouth. 280 calories. Look at that plate full of food. A lot of protein. No fat. No fat on this plate. 5 grams of fat on this whole plate. 28 grams of carbs. I'll get some of the apples. 28 grams of carbs. Look at this. Unbelievable. Who thought on a healthy journey you can eat so good? 208 calories. I'll have the recipe, the calories, the fat, the carbs, and the proteins down below. You got to try this. It is absolutely delicious. Even people that are not on a healthy journey are going to enjoy the southern apples and pork chops. So, until we meet again, have a blessed day.